Hey everybody, what's up? Andrew Zimmern here, talking about AMA stuff. Ask me anything. So here's the deal. Every week in this space, I'm going to answer as many viewer questions, see, I'm a TV guy, reader questions as I can, at least 3, knock on wood. And the more you ask me, the more I'm going to try to keep answering. So keep them up. We've gotten some great questions recently. It's just a place for us to relate and have a conversation. Deb D from Iowa says, "Hey, Andrew, we're neighbors." Smiley face. "I watch all your shows, enjoy all of them. Thank you. My favorite to date is the Zimmern List. Will you be doing any more of those? And if so, when? Thanks." I sure hope so, Deb. Zimmern List was one of the favorite pieces of content I've ever made. We won an Emmy for Zimmern List. And the funny story is we won an Emmy right at the beginning of 2020 for it. And so it was a show that wasn't made anymore because Travel Channel the year before went from doing travel and food to ghost and paranormal. So it was for a network that really no longer existed, a show that wasn't being made anymore, and we won it in a year where there wasn't even an awards gala to go to. So I know we won one, but did it really happen? Yes, it did. But you get my point. So I hope someone else does. I think it was fantastic. Like incredible, fantastic content. So I appreciate your agreeing. Denise says, "I've been catching up on Zimmern List now that it's all on Magnolia, not just on Discovery Plus the streamer. Just love these, so relatable. My 2 questions for you. Most overrated current food trend, most underrated current food trend." Wow. Great questions because I usually ignore stuff like that like the plague. I think the most overrated current food trend is probably also the most underrated current food trend. And that is to say, restaurants that are focusing on healthy, wellness-driven, and in some cases, nutraceutically based foods. And I'll tell you why it's the same for both. It's a monster trend, so a lot of people are hopping on it. And quite frankly, it is when you're doing, oh, Luca, be quiet. When you're doing like less is more cooking or real from the soil, non-animal protein based stuff, it's hard. It's not easy. And it requires an extremely deft hand. It's why some of the places in many parts of the world that serve a Buddhist monastery cuisine. There are some chefs in Japan that are just doing extraordinary stuff. One especially in Kanazawa. Well, a few in Kanazawa, just to the west of Tokyo. Well, on the western coast opposite Tokyo, on the island of Honshu, are just doing like some of the most amazing things. But it's so hard. And I'm not arguing that all of it needs to be what they're doing at Arpege, which is a very fancy restaurant that's farm-driven. But, oh, my God, it's just grow good vegetables and get out of the way. I mean, that's my thing. The most underrated food trend is that the people who are doing it well deserve more of our love and applause. I just think it's tricky to do. It's even trickier to create food that is geared towards people who might not exclusively be eating that food. Example, there is a restaurant here that serves vegan Indian food, and I adore it. I try to go as often, I was going as often as possible during COVID. Their hours, they actually may be closed now, sadly, but I'm sure there are others up on Central Avenue, and they cater to a clientele that is desperate for that kind of food. I go, I take friends, I don't even tell them, I do all the ordering, and at the end of the meal, the cliche is true, they don't even know that they didn't eat any meat or that it was a vegan meal. And that's so hard to do, especially to like appease meat lovers or people who do have meat or fish or other animal protein as part of their diet, right? So what's overrated is it is also underrated. Regina asks, where's the most misunderstood place you have traveled in terms of kindness of people? Not even close, Syria. And that's only because we have prejudged. I mean, I could say that I could say the same. I could say the same of Russia, of different parts of several other countries, Venezuela, Cuba, places that our government does not have great diplomatic relations with, where a lot of people confuse the government with the people, but none more so than Syria. I was there about 2 months before the bomb started to drop, when Obama was president, and we were there 10 days to shoot a show. And if you watch the program, the episode of Bizarre Foods that we made in Syria, we referenced the kindness of the people almost in every scene because it kind of became a meme for us. We would be walking down the street and people would come running out of shops to try this cheese. Have you tried this thing? Because they knew we were an American TV crew, and no American TV crew had ever gone into Syria and done a food show. And so the food people were like, try this, try this, try this, try this. When we would eat in someone's home, even if they were on the opposite side of the geopolitical or civics argument than me. And by the way, I say this also as a Jew, it was unbelievable. We had people who went out of their way to show us one of the temples in Damascus. The kindest, most beautiful people in the whole world in Syria. And it's what makes the leveling of so much of that country by their own leader, in many cases, so heartbreaking for me. So, yeah, there you go. AMA, put your questions right down there. I'll answer them next week.